Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and are you looking forward to the start of the 2024-2025 Formula E season? This will be season 11 of the premier electric car series, one of the few still left in existence in what has been a rough couple of years. That raises questions about the series' future, but we are not worrying about that today. Today we are looking at all the new liveries that will be on the grid in 2025. Some changes to teams mean rebrandings, and other teams have made some drastic changes too. Same as last year, we go from worst to best, mocking and praising where I see fit. Last year I said DS Penske had the best livery on the grid, whilst McLaren's efforts were ugly as sin. We'll see if that has changed in 2025. We'll be looking at Formula E all week, so make sure you subscribe for the rest of the Formula E content coming out, including predictions and a review of the Sao Paulo E-Prix on Saturday. For now, let's jump into this look at the Formula E liveries of Season 11. McLaren. And they've done it again. The frustrating thing is, as the only orange car on the grid, this should be a slam dunk to be at least near the best livery on the list. It's hard to make a bad orange livery. I have almost never seen a bad orange livery. But McLaren, time and time again, go out of their way to make orange liveries that objectively suck. Too much black, plain and simple. Black and orange can go well together, but when McLaren do it, it always looks terrible. See their progressively worse liveries in Formula 1 as Exhibit A, and the fact they have had my least favourite livery in Formula E as Exhibit B. I'm going to tell you the biggest fault with this livery. It looks like a no stopping zone. I can't park my car in your McLaren. Outrageous. As is this terrible livery. Go back to the drawing board and do better, McLaren. Go get bleeding tangoed. Jaguar. I'm not entirely sure if this is the official 2025 Formula E livery for Jaguar, but it's the only one I could find, so I'm going with it. I haven't liked a Jaguar livery for a long time, and seeing the god-awful prototype livery gave me a bad feeling. It has all 16 tracks Jaguar TCS have won on in Formula E, and if I see it again, I'll turn up with a bucket of turpentine and a scrubbing brush. But I haven't seen anything else from Jaguar. If they go with this, it's terrible. If they have a livery like last year's, it's terrible. But then Jaguar are known for making good decisions these days. Remember, this is the same company that released the E-Type. No one involved with the company then is involved with them now, obviously. Now they're run by a bunch of blind, dribbling gibbons. I still want them to win though. Mahindra. The Indian team have never embraced the colourful nature of their heritage, and instead gone for a very basic business-like liveries. This is exactly like their first livery, which had very little about it that stood out. This too is very bland and instantly forgettable. It's better than last year's livery, which had that weird creamy bronzy colour panel in the middle, but if you've watched Formula E since Season 1, and I have, then you've seen this livery 1,000 times before. They're the third worst livery on the grid for the crime of being incredibly dull. Andretti. Identical to last year, I have absolutely nothing to say about it. I hope they have a much better livery than this when they finally get into Formula 1. Lazy, boring, disappointing, I could go on, but why should I put in more effort than Andretti did themselves? Nissan. They keep teasing us with these so-called cherry blossom designs. But there was a concept livery a couple of years ago that was the best of all of them, but the liveries they actually choose for their race cars scale back for creativity and fall short of the full potential of this idea. Same goes for Season 11. It looks like it could have been a good livery, but stops just sort of something really interesting. It's another plain red and white livery with a few lengths of cheap wallpaper around the sides of the car. It's more interesting than some of the dross on this list, but I still don't think it's a good livery. It's just so disappointing that Nissan have this S-grey design right there and never use it. I've got the Holy Grail in my mug cupboard, but I'm going to drink from the same mouldy Dilbert mug I always do. Stupid. DS Penske. We are getting into the liveries I actually like now, and DS Penske have a good livery. It's a shame it's nowhere near as good as last year's. They've removed the gold from the livery, relegating it to the trim, and it's nice, it's neat, and there are not so many black cars on the grid to ruin it. But why are the sponsor logos in white? Could you not have put them in the same gold colour? The side of this car looks like an old chalkboard. There is a good livery here, and with a few tweaks it could be great. It's just a few small decisions that spoil it. Maserati. They haven't changed a lot from last year, except adding more of that bronze patch at the back. I don't know why they do it, because it really spoils the whole livery. It's saved by the exquisite shade of blue They really have the best blue in all of motorsport, but it would be better if it was this blue with a minimal bronze trim. Just a few bronze lines rather than an entire Greek army slathered over the arse. From the front, this is one of the best liveries on the grid. The whole thing put together is only worthy of 5th on this list. Kiro. Yet another rebranding, another new livery, and another improvement from the team formerly known as China Racing. Nextev, TCR, Neo, and ERT. Last year their livery was a little bit too busy for my liking, and the microchip style pattern I felt made it look more like a Hot Wheels car than a World Championship level racing machine. They've improved on all fronts in 2025. A nice bright shade of yellow, the black done properly here, doesn't ruin the entire livery, and the team name on the side is very well done. It's a very nice livery, only let down by the fact there is an even nicer yellow car on the grid. Envision. This was once my favourite livery on the grid, and I don't think it's really going to drop too far down the list. The fact there are 2 liveries better than this is because 2 teams have come out with blockbuster liveries, not because I think this one has got any worse. As they are the only green car on the grid, the green fits with their race against climate change ethos, and it's genuinely just a great livery. They can keep it for as long as they want. Porsche. Yeah, I did not expect to be putting Porsche of all teams up this high, but there you go. Porsche have knocked this livery out of the park. They've always had really business-like liveries, not just in Formula E, but everywhere. There is the odd great Porsche livery, but they rarely come from the actual Porsche manufacturer teams. Usually it's independents, but not here. Okay, it's a bit like a Virgin cars from the early seasons, but with a perfect blend of colours, the purple with the light mixed sprinklings of blue, and the expected organisedness of Porsche with sponsor decals and the like, makes this a near perfect offering from the German manufacturer. Lola apt Yamaha. But the very best livery on the grid hands down goes to the Lola Yamaha apt Sport entry. This is one of the best cars ever. Funny because Lola had an incredible livery the last time they entered top level motorsport. Let's hope this goes better than that did. 27 years later and Lola are back with a bang. I love everything about this livery. The colours are perfect, the layout is perfect, the fact the blue and yellow for the logo is reversed on the other side of the car. The only thing that would make this livery better is if they were actually sponsored by WD-40. Well done Lola, you have the best livery in Formula E for 2025. So they are all the liveries from the worst to best. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Do you think McLaren have the worst livery? Do you think Lola have the best livery? Make sure you subscribe for more Formula E action throughout this week, up to and including the first round of Season 11 in Brazil. Predictions coming later in the week, which is always a good time. Member content is available, including a look at the liveries from the very first season of Formula E. Thank you to everyone who has supported the channel. Enjoy the Formula E and all the motorsport this weekend, and have a good one.